Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Josh Rugger here in studio, giving you the latest update on the severe weather potential in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. And if you've been watching and following things throughout the morning, you know it has increased quite a bit across our area. So I know we've got a lot of comments so far. We're going to get to all those. But first, I want to go through the latest timing with you as well as the specific risks that we're going to be working with because a lot of things have changed and not for the better right now in terms of this severe weather potential. We are very concerned about it right now here in the Weather Lab. You just saw that. If you just tuned in, you can see that enhanced risk of severe weather located over a large part of Northwest Arkansas. We're going to get an update on this within the next hour or so, but I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of changes. You can see that level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk along and north of the Bobby Hopper Tunnel. Level 2 out of 5 slight risk for the River Valley. And the timing has not changed. We still expect these showers and storms to be moving through between about 5 to 11 p.m. and all hazards will be possible. And the latest update has seen a significant uptrend in terms of all of those hazards. You can see that tornado potential now extending all the way down to the Bobby Hopper Tunnel, at least in terms of that medium tornado potential. But also notice portions of southwest Missouri and far northwest Arkansas are clipped by this hashed area. That's where we could see significant strong tornadoes between EF2 to EF5 possible. Again, the confidence has increased now with the latest data that's coming in that we are going to see that potential for strong tornadoes. I would not be surprised in the latest update if this hashed risk was extended to include Fayetteville. We're going to be watching these trends very closely. I know a lot of folks may be wondering what's going on outside right now. I'm telling you, these showers and storms that are moving through are going to be out pretty quickly, I think, with the latest details. Now, we've also got that damaging wind risk, which has increased quite a bit as well. The River Valley also included in that hashed area for significant wind gusts over 70 miles per hour. Northwest Arkansas in that high range for that damaging wind risk. And then, of course, that large hail risk has significantly increased. We talked about this yesterday. I was very surprised how low the hail risk was yesterday. That's changed now. You can see supercells definitely possible in Northwest Arkansas. Hailstones over 2 inches in diameter, which is golf ball size. And again, that bullseye right over Benton County, as well as Berry and McDonald County in southwest Missouri. So that's the latest severe weather risk. Now, I know a lot of folks probably wondering what the timing is as well. We've got that for you right here. This is the latest run from the HRRR. So we're going to be looking at that right now. You'll notice if we go back in time here, those isolated showers and storms still moving through Northwest Arkansas at this time, but the back edge of that energy is already beginning to push to the area. I think this model is overdoing it a little bit because we're going to look at Mega Doppler in just a minute. You'll notice there's not a whole lot left in terms of this activity that's moving through NWA. It's also weakening as well. So we're going to be watching those trends very closely, but we're expecting the initiation for showers and thunderstorms right around 5, 6 o'clock. And this is why we're so concerned. Look at these isolated supercells that are developing in portions of eastern Oklahoma and southwest Missouri and moving through northwest Arkansas. This is why we are going to be in the Weather Lab watching this very closely because this is going to have the potential to produce some very high-end severe weather. I mean, it only upticks with each model run. I mean, this is a supercell factor here. You got a supercell going on in portions of the River Valley, Northwest Arkansas seeing quite a few supercells as well. Again, this is just one model run, but when we're looking at trends, when we're looking for an uptick, that's what we're seeing right now with these computer models. So definitely very concerning there. You'll notice those thunderstorms become a line right around 8, 9 o'clock. This is when that damaging wind risk is really going to increase, but you could also see tornadoes embedded within that line as that cold front pushes through the area. Those storms could continue through about 9, 10 o'clock before finally pushing out of the area after midnight. Maybe some lingering thunderstorms, but those will be non-severe in portions of the River Valley. So this is stuff that we have been watching very closely over the last couple of days. We've been stressing to stay weather aware because that severe weather potential continues to go up. Now, I'm going to get to some comments. We're going to look at the current Mega Doppler picture. I saw one comment earlier on talking about why is the severe weather risk increasing right now. And I'll tell you why that is in just a minute. But I want to get to some of the comments as well here in order to answer all the questions that you may have. So Josh Weisel, curious for the next SPC updated day one risk. We're going to get that in just a few moments, folks. Each HRRR run looks to be getting a little bit more aggressive with supercell development. And we just saw that with those trends there. Definitely a day to stay weather aware just to be safe. And, of course, download that KNWA Weather Authority app. Going to be a great resource to have. Peyton, Zach, Dan, all of us are going to be here watching these storms as we go throughout the day today. This is another thing that we'll watch it very closely. Starting to see blue skies with that little wave coming in from Oklahoma. So this is a sign, folks, that these storms are weakening right now as they're pushing into northwest Arkansas. There's not a whole lot of energy left to work with this morning convection. That's why we're so concerned right now. Absolutely, Jamie. We're going to be here. We're going to be watching it closely, and we're going to keep you safe today if and when these thunderstorms do fire up. Yeah, Jeff, storm watch party definitely going to be in play here in the weather lab later on this afternoon. All the fellas are going to be here watching this very closely. You saw Reed Timmer chasing some of the tornadoes last night. They were very gnarly storms in Thomas. This is the same exact system that's moving through the area. Those tornadoes you saw yesterday, the same system responsible for that is going to be moving through northwest Arkansas later on this afternoon into the evening. The sun has been popping out in Farmington. I have seen your tweet, Jacob. I haven't liked it yet, but I am going to do that. And yes, I mean, that's something we're going to see in just a minute. I'm going to show some of these WeatherBug Network cameras. You're going to see that clearing beginning to go down. Absolutely, Carol. We're going to be here for you throughout the day today. Well, it calls for a tornado because it was just raining and thundering in Pea Ridge, Arkansas. And yes, Kylie, that's that morning convection that we were talking about over the last several days. That was non-severe. And we did think it was going to be a little bit stronger than that, but at the same time, that's also a bad thing because it means that it wasn't as strong as what we thought it was going to be. And now that severe weather risk, which is going to be higher during the afternoon and evening, is starting to ramp up. Is the parameters increasing in the river valley as well? That's something we're going to look at with mesoanalysis in just a moment, Braden. We'll look at that in just a few moments. Could a moderate be introduced at 11:30, Jacob? I'm going to say no. I don't think it's going to be introduced. It's a possibility. I certainly think the tornado potential is going to be increased in northwest Arkansas. I do think the hashed area is going to be added to NWA. No blue skies here. Lots of rain and thunder. Was supposed to head to Rogers this afternoon, but waiting until in the morning. Jamie, yeah, be careful this afternoon. Just be very careful if you're out and about on the roads, because this system means business right now. Storm watch party will be happening at the Amp and Sherry. I was talking to Dan about this just a few moments ago. I'm concerned about the concert at the Walmart Amp right now. They're still debating on whether to have that or not at this time. But if they do have it, you are heading to that concert at the Amp, I would have an emergency preparedness plan just in case. Because if these storms do indeed come to fruition, they're going to mean business for a lot of folks in northwest Arkansas. Husband traveling from KC back to NWA around 5. Trouble. Beth, I'm going to scroll up here so you can see that. There is a marginal risk of severe weather up and down the I-49 corridor. That will slowly increase the farther south you go. I would be very careful heading south around 5, especially moving in 7, 8 o'clock. Those storms could be pushing through northwest Arkansas. Again, nothing set in stone in terms of the timing, but I would be prepared if you're traveling along I-49 southbound there. Let's see some more questions here. I just want to make sure I get to everything. I guess this means no candle box at the Amp. It's certainly a possibility, Brooke. But again, they're watching it very closely, and we're going to have an update and let you know if that's been canceled or not as soon as we figure out the latest details. I love the cooler temperatures and listening to the rain as well, Mark. You're very, very relaxing this morning, though. There was some big lightning strikes in northwest Arkansas, and that was with a lack of instability in place, too. The greatest parameters are not even here yet in northwest Arkansas, and yet we saw those storms that were pretty intense in a lot of locations. I do think with how the trends are showing, supercells further south in NWA rather than the majority in the southwest Missouri. I do agree with everything that you're saying, Josh. I don't see them upgrading to a moderate. I think they're going to stick with it enhanced, but the tornado potential could be upgraded. There is no blue sky in Pea Ridge. And you're right about that, Kylie, because there's showers and storms that are still moving through Pea Ridge, but other locations are starting to see those blue skies, especially in eastern Oklahoma and far western Arkansas. Let's go ahead and look at Mega Doppler because I just want to show you why the severe weather potential is increasing. So you see a little bit more shower and storm activity starting to move in here on Mega Doppler on the back end. The problem is, look at this. You see these storms, how they're weakening with each radar scan? In Benton County especially, this area, southwest Missouri to Benton County, this is the trouble spot today. And we're sitting here at 10:30 a.m. Remember, the severe weather potential is not going to increase until after 5 p.m. That's when the parameters are going to be in place. So we're going to have all this time for this instability to build in, for the sun to come out, and I think it's going to happen because this back edge is also starting to weaken near Fayetteville, and this is just not a whole lot of impressive shower and storm activity. All this is being fueled by an outflow boundary, which you can't see here on the Fort Smith radar, that's sagging south. So these storms are purely formed by that outflow boundary, and that's starting to move to the south. So these storms are starting to die off as well. Now, River Valley, a little bit more shower and storm activity starting to move through right now. You can see that focus. That's why the parameters may not be as high in the River Valley. So, Christopher, I saw what you were commenting at the beginning. This is exactly what I'm talking about because it's only 10:30 a.m. If these storms were sticking around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 2 to 4 o'clock, then that would lower the severe weather potential. But we're only sitting here at 10:30. I think these are going to be out by 12 o'clock p.m. And that is trouble because this is totally against what a lot of the models were showing with the secondary, very strong line of storms moving through at 12. I don't think that's happening. I just don't think that's happening. The models are picking up on that as well. Yes, Sherry, yes. Wondering about that. And exactly, Southwest Missouri, far Northwest Arkansas, those areas are going to be the locations that we're going to be watching very closely late this afternoon into the early evening hours, especially at the Walmart AMP. So we're going to be following those trends. Again, this is a rapidly evolving situation. A lot of things can and will change. Cole, good question. Do you think Washington or Benton County will be in more of a risk tonight? And I do think that's going to be the case. Now, here's the current tornado risk right here for you, Cole. You can see the significant tornado potential in southwest Missouri and far northwest Arkansas. So in Carroll, Boone County, even portions of Bella Vista included in that. But Dan and I think that's going to be nudged farther south to include Fayetteville and more of Washington County, as well as Newton County and Madison County. So I do think that's going to happen. We'll see, though. The SPC may see something different, so that's something that we're going to be watching. Are the trends showing more low coverage, high-end supercells this evening or more widespread cells? So, Mitchell, let's go right back here to Future Track for you. I still lean more towards a low coverage, high-end supercell event, but the models are trending towards more shower storm activity in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Look at that. I mean, that's the cold front right here. So what you're seeing here, these storms that develop out ahead of this cold front, folks. So the cold front's back here. I'm gonna stop it right here. The cold front is back here, located in portions of southern Missouri, stretching back into Oklahoma. But these supercells out ahead of it are what's going to have the highest tornado potential. We move along in time a little bit. That congeals into a line. This becomes more of a damaging wind risk with embedded supercells. Again, this could pack a punch, but I think we're going to have tornado potential all throughout the evening hours, especially with the instability starting to build back in again. So that's a good question, Mitchell. I think we are still going to see low coverage, high-end supercells. I also think we're going to see a broken line of thunderstorms that's going to impact a lot of locations later on this afternoon to the evening, and that's going to bring that higher end tornado potential. When do you anticipate the hail to hit Northwest Arkansas? I want to make sure I get my car protected. Cody, get that car under something by 4 o'clock, okay? Because the storms may fire up a little bit earlier than we anticipate, and then you could get caught off guard. Get that car under something around 4 or 5 o'clock. That way it doesn't get damaged because this hail could be very large. In fact, if we go back to that large hail potential, Cody, you can see we have that risk of significant hailstones over golf ball size. And a lot of the models and soundings that we're looking at shows a significant uptrend in terms of that hail potential. Thomas, there is the potential for strong tornadoes tonight. Of course, nothing is set in stone. That's why we always say potential. We don't say it will happen. It potentially could happen because of the parameters in place. So it's important to stay weather aware tonight. It's important to stay weather aware. If you're heading to the Walmart AMP, you need to have multiple ways to receive warnings. Weather Authority app's a great resource to have. We're going to be here. If things get ugly, we'll have those updates as we go throughout the afternoon and evening. Of course, this could bust. This could be nothing, but there's going to be the parameters in place for significant tornado potential this afternoon. So we're going to be watching that very closely. Josh, I haven't even checked the Texas Tech WRF. I mean, it's just it's got some work to do. It's got some work to do for sure. But I'll tell you what, the HRRR is making a comeback right now. It did a fantastic job this morning with the storms, and the uptrend that it's showing this afternoon and evening, folks, it's very concerning. You don't go based off of one model run. You go based off a trend, and the trend continues to favor more significant severe weather potential. Husband gets off of work around 6:30 here in Green Forest, and will be heading home. I'm really scared here alone with the little ones. Danny, if it's possible, see if your husband can get off work a little bit earlier. We were talking about that this morning on the shows. If it's possible, find a way to get home a little bit earlier, especially with these storms rolling in right around 6, 7, 8 o'clock. On those interstates and highways, you don't want to be caught out in those things. But definitely gonna be praying for you tonight, and we're gonna be here. We're gonna keep you safe. We're gonna be watching it very closely. We've got the whole weather team. We've got outstanding people here that have a lot of experience. Dan Scoff, of course, Zach, Peyton, me. We're all gonna be here and ready to rock and roll and keep you protected tonight. I hate these storms at night. My husband will be out in it hauling turkeys. Praying for those that have to be out in it. And I'm going to be keeping those folks as well, praying for them as well. Again, these are not going to be during the overnight hours, Jamie, so that's good. It's going to be during the evening when you're likely still awake. But again, at night, that can be a little bit more challenging to see those features on the storms. High impact, low coverage. So if your area doesn't see storms after the system passes, consider that a good thing. Be prepared for storms in your area regardless, just to be safe. This is a system you don't want to take lightly. Josh, it's one of the higher end severe weather threats we've seen all year, and it's definitely concerning. That is for sure. Yes, prayers, of course. I'm going to be praying as well. Hopefully this is a big bust. There's always that potential that it could be. Has the triple point shifted, or is it still directly over northwest Arkansas? Mitchell, that's a good question. Let's look at water vapor right now. Let's check out what's going on out the window. So this energy is now a little bit farther south, of course, compared to what we were earlier this morning. You can see it. See, this is what's got me so concerned, folks. I'm going to move myself out of the way. Notice the track of the system. The system is moving southeast, and this is exactly what we see with these high-end severe weather threats in northwest Arkansas. Anytime that system tracks southeast like that, you've got this dry punch nosing in right there. This can foster explosive thunderstorm development once that instability and that ample wind shear gets rolling. Now, the warm front, there's the outflow boundary that I was just talking about that fired off those storms just a few moments ago. That's racing south. The warm front is now draped over southern Oklahoma. In fact, we can look at that right here, Mitchell, and see where exactly that warm front is by going to our dew points. And you can see, that warm front is getting closer. Dew point's already in the upper 60s in northwest Arkansas, but the warm front is right here where that nose is of those higher dew points. I mean, we already have high dew points across the area, but if this warm front continues to lift to the north and makes it into northwest Arkansas, trouble. That's all I got to say. Trouble, 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 if that does indeed happen. So I'm going to go back here to the severe weather risk. We're going to answer some more questions now. I want to get to everybody's. I'm going to be here for a little while longer, so I want to make sure everybody's got their questions answered and is feeling good about tonight. Sun is starting to poke out in Centerton. Not good. Hope this is a bust, Cole. I hope it's a bust as well. Am I able to do some Uber Eats today? I deliver food for them, and that's my only job. Alexa, you could do some Uber Eats today, but I would cut it off at 5 p.m. By the way, we're going to have some severe weather training here within the next couple of hours, and we got a voucher for Uber Eats. You may deliver for us potentially. That'd be awesome. I'm going to leave you an awesome tip if it ends up being you. But yes, I think you're good to deliver for Uber Eats until 5 p.m. and then I would cut it off and get home. But I think you're good to go at least for the rest of the morning and early afternoon. Sun's beaming in Bentonville. I want to check out the WeatherBug Network cameras. Let's look at our Fulbright Junior High School camera. Oh boy. There it is. You can see the blue skies right there. And this is what we were talking about. And this is why we were so concerned about everything. It looks like our Bella Vista camera's down. That needs to be brought back up. There's the Bentonville Square. Bentonville Square still looks a little bit cloudy, but we just saw that Fulbright camera show quite a bit of clearing going on. Here's our Decatur City Hall. Oh, a lot of blue skies, folks. This is all stuff this is why the severe weather potential is increasing right now. Again, I don't expect a whole lot more shower and storm activity in Benton County. That back edge of the system is weakening, and I don't think we're going to see a whole lot more until this afternoon. Wind shear, Thomas, is looking really high. I'm going to go to meso analysis soon. I just want to make sure I get through all these comments. HRRR making a comeback like the Patriots against the Falcons in the Super Bowl. That's a good way to describe it right there, Josh. It was down 28-3. Now it's up as we go into overtime. Let's see if it can produce during overtime. The HRRR was just on vacation. Hopefully no bad ones. We're hoping so too. Nikita reporting that the sun is shining in Rogers. We're starting to see that too on our WeatherBug Network cameras. Can you send some to Arizona, Mark? I certainly hope Arizona could get some relief soon. I mean, Phoenix, my goodness, like 115 degrees almost every day a few weeks ago. That's crazy. Absolutely, Jamie. Absolutely. We're here for you. He leaves for work at 6. We'll be going from Yellville area to Ozark. Be very careful. Tell him to be very, very careful. Things get out of hand. Make sure he's finding an area to stay safe and to some shelter. Thank you so much, James. Appreciate you. Appreciate the support that you've always had for us here. And we're going to keep you safe tonight for sure. I'm going to go back to Mega Doppler here so you guys can take a look at the radar. And again, look at the back edge. There's not much left, folks, in terms of that shower and storm activity. At least it's before we go to bed. And that is the silver lining, Isaac. We aren't going to see these storms move through during the overnight hours. People will be up. We'll be able to get them ready to go and safe. We'll be ordering around 11:45, Alexa. So 11:45 a.m. is when we'll be ordering on Uber Eats. And again, if I see you, I'm going to leave a really good tip. But I do think you're going to be good to go until at least 5 p.m. RHS has football practice in 4 at fundraiser at 6:30. Ooh, Rachel. Hopefully there's a way. I feel like there's got to be a way in order to move that maybe to a different date. I think football practice will be fine at 4, but still, I mean, you never know with these systems, with the amount of energy that's moving in. We could see shower and storm activity at 4. So I don't know about that fundraiser at 6:30, especially with the kiddos out there. That could be trouble. That could be some trouble. Bella Vista, sun shining. Thank you for that report since our camera's down right now, for sure, in Bella Vista. Is gravity in the hashed area, Andy? Not currently, but it may be added in a future update. Let's zoom in a little bit more and look at specific towns. So you can see Bella Vista is right on the edge of that hashed area. Pea Ridge is included. Eureka Springs, Berryville, Omaha, just to the north of Harrison. Gravette, not yet, but Andy, I think it could be added soon. So we're going to be watching that trend. Again, that's going to be within the next 50 minutes. We're going to get another update, and we'll watch it very closely. Tanya, absolutely. Definitely here for you. Have someone coming in from the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport in an XNA around midnight. What do you think? Tanya, if that flight leaves around 11, I actually think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be good to go. Now, if you're picking them up, I would be careful heading to the airport. I would make sure I was there in a safe space. I wouldn't leave like around 6, 7 o'clock, but I think most of the severe weather is going to be out of this area, XNA, by the time we get to about 10 o'clock. So I think the flight will be fine. Just be careful as you're heading there if you are picking them up from XNA. Is tornado risk increasing in Northwest Arkansas? That's what we're looking at right now, Jason. And yes, it is. And I think it's going to continue to increase. Sun shining in Lowell. We're getting more reports of that. Sun's been popping out in Mountainburg. See, this is a sign that those storms are starting to decrease in coverage right now and decrease in their strength. Absolutely, Matthew. And I know you'll probably be out and about watching these storms, and I appreciate your updates as well. You're doing a great job with that, and I can't wait to have some dinner with you soon as well, with Colby in the game. Still dark and cloudy in southwest Missouri, which lines up Sammy. I hope I said your name right. If I didn't say your name right, Sammy, let me know. But yes, still some thunderstorms going on in southwest Missouri right now. Victoria, River Valley. Good question, because I've been focusing more on northwest Arkansas. River Valley, the severe weather potential is lower right now, but it's still there. I mean, we've got a 5% tornado area right over the I-40 corridor in Fort Smith. Now, the farther south you go, the less that tornado potential becomes, but it's still in place over LaFleur and Scott County. So we'll be watching the I-40 corridor very closely as well, especially as we go throughout the evening. But a very good question. And we will be watching that very close. I'm going back to the overall severe weather risk. You can see that slight risk is in the River Valley at this time. Alexa, are you guys located in Fayetteville? Yes, we are. We're on Dixon Street. So we're right along Dixon Street near Insomnia Cookies, right across the street from Jimmy John's and Auntie On's Pretzels as well. So we're located in the Midtown building. Y'all are my go-to. Thank y'all for everything. Absolutely, Sherry. Absolutely. We're here for you. Stress snacks tonight. I say this, Baja Blast Freezy or a Baja Mountain Dew with Doritos. That's my go-to right there, especially when I'm doing some gaming. That's my go-to, Amanda. That's my recommendation. Powdered donuts and chocolate milk. There's another good one. I might need to go get some of those in just a few moments, actually. I am starving. That's why I got that Uber Eats voucher. Just got really bright and sunny near Garfield. Yep, it's starting to ramp up, Eric. Prairie Grove camera still down. It is still down right now, Mitchell, unfortunately. I wish we still had it. Now, the Lincoln camera, I think that's up. No, it's not up still. Yeah, it's not up right now. I'm looking at it right here. There it is. It's not up yet still. So that's kind of a bummer, but we did get the Decatur camera back up, so we're going to have multiple ways to look at this. JD just talked about that. River Valley, maybe not as intense or as widespread in terms of the showers and storms, but still have that severe weather potential, still have that tornado risk, and still going to have to stay weather aware. In fact, that significant damaging wind risk is centered over the River Valley as well. So make sure you're staying weather aware in the River Valley. Rogers, Margie, again, that's where the higher end severe weather threat is. The timing, 5 p.m. to 11 p.m., and all hazards are possible in Rogers, including the potential for significant tornadoes. Do you think people need to put cars and trucks in the garage? Yes, I do, Daniel, especially with the risk for significant hail. I would go ahead and put those in right around 4 p.m. Because after that, I think these storms are going to start ramping up. Good question, Quinn. If they issue a watch, you think it will be a tornado watch or severe thunderstorm watch? I am very confident that it will be a tornado watch for Northwest Arkansas. I think that will extend into the River Valley as well, especially with the parameters that are in place. I think it's going to be a tornado watch. Absolutely, Isaac. We're going to be here for you, and we really appreciate you as well and the support. And again, this is it. This is a high-end severe weather threat, and we will be on our A+ game tonight. That is for sure. I promise you that. Power's out in Diamond City. Okay, so that's been out since 9:40 and quite a bit of rainfall as well. So hopefully that power can be restored, William. I'm going to look at that on poweroutage.us while I'm answering some more questions here. Is there any chance of storms tomorrow morning, Jamie? I think they'll be out of the area by midnight tonight. Maybe lingering around 1, 2 o'clock, but the severe weather potential is going to be over. And I think we have no showers and storms tomorrow. I think tomorrow is going to be a picture-perfect day. Rogers heading out to Beaver Lake, 4 to 6. Ooh. I would move those plans, Margie. I would not be out on Beaver Lake this evening, and especially from the fact that you're going to be heading home right into those storms even after you're done. So that I would delay that trip, maybe move it back later on this week. Tomorrow, great day to head out to Beaver Lake. This afternoon and evening, I wouldn't do it, me personally. Sun was out in the River Valley, and it warmed up quick just before the rain. Didn't take long to get hot and muggy, and that's what's going to happen in Northwest Arkansas too, Braden. I mean, we're already seeing those peaks of sunshine, and that warm front's lifting north. We've already got ample moisture in place. It's not going to take a whole lot for those parameters to be restored in Northwest Arkansas. Sun's coming out in Rogers. Absolutely, Jacob. Absolutely. And thank you as well for being so engaged, and really appreciate it. JD, keeping a lot of folks in our prayers as well. here in NWA. Sun's popping out in South Cave Springs by the Benton-Washington County border. So getting a lot of reports. Now, Harrison still getting some strong storms, Melissa. In fact, if we look at how heat and cooling Megadoppler, the tail end of those stronger storms are moving through, but you probably had some small hail earlier on this morning. These storms were pretty intense this morning. And folks, this was with very low instability in place. That tells you that the trends are towards stronger storms, because even though we didn't have any instability, these storms had a tremendous amount of lightning and heavy rainfall, and that's just a precursor to what we're going to see later on this afternoon. 14Z still continuing that trend of supercells farther south. Helicity tracks through northwest Arkansas. Yeah, I think so too, Josh. I think it's going to have to happen. With these trends, it just keeps going up and up and up. Now, here's a good question, Melissa. PDS on the table. What she means by that is a particularly dangerous situation. I'm going to say no. Usually they reserve those for widespread severe weather outbreaks. I don't think there will be a PDS tornado watch, but I'll tell you this, the potential for strong tornadoes is still there in northwest Arkansas. And you're going to see that in that tornado watch that they issue later on this afternoon. It will be on the higher end, that's for sure. Let's see here. Just looking for some more questions. Line of storms are isolated supercells. Mark, if we go back here to the latest run from the HRRR, these will initially be discrete supercells. Now, some of the models are indicating that maybe that a broken cluster of storms develops, but the front and the piece of energy is coming in from the northwest. So I do think these storms out ahead of it are going to have the highest end tornado potential. In fact, if I move on a little bit farther here, you can see these supercells developing in portions of northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Now, later on in the evening, I do think that this will become a line of storms with mainly a damaging wind risk, but then we're going to have to watch for QLCS tornado potential when the shear vectors are really high, of course, with all the energy that's going to be moving in. So the QLCS tornado potential is going to be quite high. The critical angles are almost perfect, very steep lapse rates. Wind shear is insane for this time of year. I still can't believe this is a setup in August. But most of those showers and storms will be out by the time we get to the overnight hours tonight. But isolated to scattered supercells initially, Mark, and then transitioning to more of a line of storms as we go throughout the rest of the evening hours. Very good question there. A couple of things. Sounds like the universal cutoff time to do anything and make your way home is 4 to 6 p.m. What time is the next day one update? 11:30 a.m., Mitchell. We are going to get our next update at 11:30 a.m. And I do think the cutoff time is 4 to 6 p.m. I would not want to be out on the roads after 6, and that might be pushing it in a lot of locations in northwest Arkansas. Can we diagnose the parameters? Let's do that, Braden. Let me go ahead and pull it up here. Let me do a share screen. Stand by on that, and we're going to pull that up for you because I do think we should show this stuff. So here we go. I'm going to present this. I'm going to take a break from looking at the comments, folks. I promise I'm going to get back to those in just a minute. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at what Braden's talking about here. We're going to look at these parameters in place. I'm going to remove your comment, Braden. Pretty sure this is full screen now. I'm going to zoom this in just a little bit more so you can see that better. And let's go into it. So let's go to the HRRR. This is the 14Z, which just came out. We're going to go to a regional view here. And we're going to look at a couple of things here. The first thing we're going to look at is the surface-based instability, which right now is on place because of the showers and storms that move through. But notice, as we go along in time, that warm front soars northward. And oh my goodness, look at that. Look at that nose of instability that's developing in portions of central Oklahoma, westward into the River Valley and northwest Arkansas. I mean, we've got plenty of instability. And this is why this setup is so concerning, because you're getting spring-like parameters in terms of wind shear, in terms of a number of different factors, and you're also getting your summertime instability in place. So there's plenty of fuel for these thunderstorms to maintain their strength as we go throughout the evening. Now, the reason why you're seeing holes in the instability here is because those showers and storms are forming through northwest Arkansas and then progressing off to the south. So again, the instability is going to continue to soar to the north as we go throughout the afternoon, and that's why we are going to see that severe weather potential increase. Now, Let's look at the bulk shear. Let's look at the shear that we're going to be working with here in Northwest Arkansas. Now, of course, that's going to be ramping up as we go throughout the afternoon hours today. But if we look at the photographs on top of this, I mean, look at this. We've already got these parameters in place right now. The photographs are already insane. And you notice as that instability nudges in, the westerlies are kicking in, the wind shear is ramping up, and this is getting stronger as we go throughout the afternoon and evening. I mean, this is very concerning. The critical angle very close to 90 degrees. The storm motion is very favorable as they move to the east southeast. This is a problem right here, folks. This is a problem. So again, I know we're getting a little bit geeky here. Maybe we lost a few folks, but this is what we're talking about when we say that the parameters in place are very high end. And of course, I don't always like to look at the significant tornado parameter because it's very instability driven. But if we go ahead and look at it, you can see that nosing into Northwest Arkansas. Now, again, this is showing it may be missing out in portions of far Northwest Arkansas, but the River Valley and portions of Washington County, you can see that higher end tornado parameter in place. Now, let's look at the sounding. And so the sounding, this one maybe not quite as great in terms of the critical angle. Now, remember, the critical angle that you're seeing here is not the true critical angle because we can't see the 0 to 1 kilometer shear. But you can see very strong shear, maybe not quite a strong speed shear, but very, very strong, especially with the westerlies as you go up into the upper levels of the atmosphere. And a pretty good sounding, very steep lapse rates as well. I am concerned about that damaging wind risk. You kind of see that V there at the end of that sounding. But this right here, maybe a Cape robber going on. This is a little bit washed out, but still very favorable photographs, very favorable wind shear, and steep lapse rates, and a lot of instability. I mean, a lot of parameters that we typically look for severe weather are in place right now. So that's the latest HRRR. I know we got a little bit geeky there. I may have lost a few folks, but I just wanted to kind of answer some questions on what the parameters are looking like in Northwest Arkansas. All right, let's get back to the questions here. Can we see the latest future track? We're looking at that right here, Dylan, and you can see those showers and storms again moving through right around 5 o'clock to 9 p.m. in Northwest Arkansas. I know we probably lost a few comments in here, so I'm going to try to catch up. The sun is mostly popping up down here in Colbert, Oklahoma, far away from the Arkansas River Valley in our own Texoma region. And we do need rain and thunderstorms coming. You know what, Eric? That just reminded me. Maybe we need to look at the high-resolution satellite as well. That's probably not a bad idea to look at. So let's go ahead and look at that right now. This will take a little bit to load, but it will be loading in pretty soon. So look at all this clearing that's going on the back edge, folks. That's trouble. That's trouble. Of course, this is still loading in right now. Okay, so there's the thunderstorms that moved in earlier on in the morning. But notice all this clearing on the backside. Now, there isn't a whole lot right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if these breaks of sun continue to get a little bit more widespread as these showers and storms continue to decrease in coverage and intensity. In fact, you can see that starting to nose its way into Mountainburg, portions of Benton County, Washington County. This is concerning right now because there's nothing else building in on the back edge of the system. There's no more showers and storms to get through, and that's a problem because that's going to allow that instability to surge back into the north. Let's see here. More questions. Absolutely, Cole. Absolutely. God bless to you as well. And again, we'll be here watching it very closely and keeping you safe throughout the day today. Family living on a flight out from XNA at 5. Should we keep an eye out for a cancellation? So, Sam, I do think delays are possible. Now, which way is the flight leaving? That would be my first question. I do think delays are possible. I don't know if it will be canceled entirely, but still, I would prepare for the potential for delays depending on which way you're moving in terms of that flight. Absolutely. Absolutely, Lena. We're here for you, and we'll be watching it very closely. Absolutely, JD, and thank you so much for your engagement and your support. Christopher, more clouds look to be moving into Bentonville. Certainly, I mean, partly cloudy skies right now, Christopher, but the rain is done. The rain's done in Bentonville. I mean, I don't see any indication that more showers and storms are going to be developing. In fact, fizzling out now as it moves into Fayetteville. And Benton County's got no more rain on the tail end of the system. Now, River Valley could still see a few more showers and storms, which is why that potential is a little bit lower right now. But if we go back to high resolution water vapor, folks, the partly cloudy skies are there. The breaks in the clouds are there. And a lot of clearing going on just to the west of Tulsa. And this is why the severe weather potential continues to increase. Yeah, no kidding, David. I mean, he had some insane intercepts yesterday. He almost got into a bit of trouble there as well. Thankfully, he was able to get out of there just with the window. He was also shirtless as well. I wonder if the tornado ripped his shirt off as well. He dominated that storm. That's for sure, Danita. He did dominate that storm yesterday in eastern Colorado. That's that same system that's moving into northwest Arkansas later on this afternoon. And I was talking to Dan about this morning. We typically see those higher end severe weather threats when we get high end severe weather in eastern Colorado and western Kansas. And that's why we are so concerned, because that tells you this storm's got a lot of wind shear it's working with, very steep low level lapse rates, and things could rapidly deteriorate in a hurry. And I also noticed at the tail end of this time lapse as well, I can't believe I didn't notice this until now, that thick cloud deck is out of northwest Arkansas. This is partly cloudy skies that are moving through now. So this is something that we're going to be watching. Absolutely, Josh. And I appreciate you as well. You know, I really like that app that you've got going on and the updates that you provide. Follow Josh on Twitter as well. Josh, I'm going to pull up your Twitter here real quick so some folks can go to that. He's got some great updates for Northwest Arkansas as well. You can follow him at JWWX225. I'm going to put that in the chat as well. But Josh does a tremendous job following stuff, and he'll be watching these storms very closely as well tonight. But there's that thing that I've just put into the comments, so you guys can check him out on social media and give him a follow. What if your garage is full, no room for a truck to go into the garage later? How do you cover it from the storm? It's very hard to do, Daniel. I wish I could give you a good answer on that. I mean, if you have a way to maybe go to a buddy's house, maybe they have the apartment with an awning under them, that could be a possibility. But it is hard to do if the garage is full. That's a good question. I wish I could have a better answer for you there, but hopefully the hail isn't as large. We'll keep our fingers crossed. Jacob, I'm going to check that out right after I get done with this weather live stream, which I think we're going to keep this up for about 5 more minutes and then wrap things up. Alexis, we're here for you. We're here for you, and we'll be watching it very closely in the Weather Lab. Of course, Dan, Peyton, and Zach will have the latest updates later on this afternoon. It's the severe weather expected in northwest Arkansas at 5, right on the money, Taylor. Right at 5 p.m., that's when we're expecting the severe weather potential to start ramping up in northwest Arkansas. Now, it could be a little bit later, could be a little bit earlier than that, but 5 p.m. I think is the hard cutoff time in terms of when these things are going to start rolling in. Quinn, do you think a moderate risk for the area is possible? I talked about that very briefly. I don't think a moderate risk is going to be increased. I think they're going to stick with the enhanced risk. I do think, though, that this tornado risk is going to be extended farther southwest, at least in terms of the significant tornado potential. I think that's going to nose into Fayetteville. With the latest trends that we're looking at right now, I would be surprised if we didn't see an upgrade there. So that's something that we will be watching very closely. Winter time can hurry up now, LOL. And even during the winter, we can get severe weather potential. So, Christopher, it has been a busy last several months in northwest Arkansas, and it might be all coming to fruition today. It really does look like things are coming together for significant tornado potential. If you can get a person named Jordiana picking up and delivering your order, it is me, because I can't use my account yet, so I'm just using my sister's. Okay, Alexa, I'll be on the lookout for that. Again, we're going to be ordering, or at least I'll be ordering right around 11:45. But very good mention there. And again, if we can get you, I'm going to be leaving a good tip. I promise you that. Check out the Fulbright cam. Let's do that. That's a good mention right there, Beth. So yeah, there's some lower clouds there, some darker clouds on the horizon. But again, we're going to see this start to decrease, because if I flip back and forth between Megadoppler, look at that. There's nothing else to go in Bentonville. There's no more shower and storm development. So that's something that is that we're going to be watching closely. I think that is facing to the west as well. So again, we're going to have these waves of clouds and sun, but I do think we're going to see abundant sunshine later on this afternoon into the evening. Or not later on this afternoon, early this afternoon, later this afternoon. That's when the storms are going to fire off. When will your live coverage start again? That's a good question, Margie. That will be up to Dan and the weather team's discretion. I'm going to be going home. I'm going to be taking a brief nap after we get done with this training. Then I'm going to be back during the afternoon, right around 4 or 5 o'clock. Pretty sure Dan will have another update within the next few hours or so. I can promise you that. Great job, JD. Yeah, he's a great follow. Again, I put that in the comments. Follow Josh Weisel. Great dude. And he knows a lot about the weather, and he's going to also keep you safe tonight on social media. You can feel that instability building in. I'm going to step outside after I get done with this weather live, Alex. I really want to feel it outside because look at that. You see those? All it takes is just some peaks of sunshine, folks, and that's how you get that instability to build in. And those dew points are already very, very high. Taylor, good question. I can show you that right here. The timing, again, from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. I think the majority of the showers and storms are going to be out. Now, these storms are going to be quick moving. So once that initial line moves through, I think the severe weather potential is going to go down quite a bit. But I think the all clear will be by midnight for all of us in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Very good move, though, by the way, too, to go to a place that's safer. If you have the ability to do that, I think I would highly recommend that later on tonight. You still got plenty of time to make plans. I would definitely make some plans just in case. Brent, is the amp closed tonight? As of now, I haven't seen any indication that it is, but I will be watching that very closely, and we'll have updates on that as we go throughout the day. But right now it's not, but there is potential for that to happen. David, that lines up exactly with what we were looking at on high-resolution water vapor. Absolutely, Margie, JD, appreciate you guys as well. Between Branson and Harrison here, be weather aware tonight, Rebecca. Be weather aware tonight. Okay, that's the last of the comments, and we're right at 11 o'clock now. So we're going to get an update on the latest severe weather potential in 30 minutes. Look for that update on social media. We are likely going to do another weather live stream. Dan, Zach, and Peyton will be doing that. I'll be here during the evening as well, watching these storms very closely. But to sum things up, main severe weather time frame between 5 to 11 p.m. We will get another update at 11:30. I do think the significant tornado potential is going to be added to a large part of Northwest Arkansas, and we will continue to keep you posted on the latest information. One more thing I'll mention, and then I'll wrap it up. Download that Weather Authority app, a great resource to have. You can find it on the Google Play, Apple App Store. If you're watching online, you can scan this QR code that I'm about to show on the screen here. Of course, we will post video forecast updates there. We've got a weather blog that's updated. You can find more details there if you want specific timing and risk in your area. And we will keep you safe. I promise you that. And we will continue to watch those latest trends very closely. All righty, folks. Have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday. Dan Scoff, Peyton Langford, Zach Gilday, they'll all be here within the next couple of hours. And stay right here with your Weather Authority team for the latest updates. God bless everybody, and have a good one.